welcome to Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's garbage people and a look at all the trashiest news stories. My name is Erica, and I'm your host.
My name is Cassandra, and I'm your other host. Oh, God. The cold is going around. That wasn't even a bit, girl. I just had to speak.
She's got the consumption.
I've got the consumption. What is that? What this is called?
Yeah, I saw you cough into a little napkin and a little blood came out, but you delicately put it back in your pocket as to not let on.
Not warn. That's how they know, though, in the movie that I'm dying.
Absolutely. You put on the bravest face for me. You didn't want me to know.
Couldn't do that for you last week, though. Hey, sorry, everybody, that we took the week off.
You know, sometimes you just need a moment of rest. And there was so much media. There was so much going on. I almost say our voices weren't necessary.
I would agree with that. We do hope everyone went and voted, but hey, it's already behind us now. So if you didn't, fucking who cares? Decisions have been made, you know? So yeah, we were not the voice that I think anyone was looking for. So it was a good thing. It was a good timing for me to catch cold.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it truly was the best of times and the worst of times.
I'd love to make an observation, yes, before we dive in. So my dearest Tay Bebe and me made this observation. I'm going to go ahead and he made it. I agree with him, but he made it. Does anyone on this planet love a cartoon version of themselves more than a plumber or, a tree trimming service, mm-hmm, or any sort of kind of specialty labor like that? Is there anyone that loves a cartoon version of themselves more than those people?
True. I think about dog catcher back in the day.
Oh,
they also loved a cartoon version of themselves.
You show me a plumber's truck, and I'll show you a cartoon of a plumber.
Yeah.
And they're not the same ones. Like, they didn't all just have the same, Getty photo. Can you imagine Getty photos of cartoon plumbers like at the Met? They're not all using the same cartoon plumber.
Mm-hmm.
They all have different ones. So it must be loosely based on what this person looks like.
Think of the economic ecosystem of the local. Okay, so there's the local plumber that has the cartoon version of themselves.
Yeah.
But there's also the artist that does the rendering of the plumber. Then there's the person that applies that image to their van.
Sure, yeah, the sticker.
There's a whole economy. If we start getting
whole industry,
it's a whole industry. If we can start getting can you imagine if plumbers were all of a sudden just like sculptured like Leonardo's or something, and they didn't advertise with cartoons?
Are you saying that plumbers advertise with cartoons because they're not attractive?
No.
I think that's what you said. It said if they were all sculptured Leonardos, that they wouldn't find the need to have a cute cartoon of themselves. So you just said hashtag all plumbers are ugly.
That's not. Let me walk that back. Absolutely necessary. If the plumbing goes, society goes. People think, oh, if democracy breaks down the supply chains, nope, we'll scavenge, we'll deal. If the pipes go, this is Mad Max. Okay.
I mean, she's not wrong. Did you know, like back in the day, like everyone used to just shit together in like a circle, like what? Outside.
What? How back in the day?
I don't know, like in the 80s?
No. That was not just the neighbor. No. Leave it to Beaver was not just.
This is like the Roman times or some shit. Like, I feel like I've seen a documentary or two, probably 3, where like they're coming up on ancient ruins, and it's like a big square full of like a seat, you know, and they're like, oh, is this a theater? And they're like, actually, this was a public bath. And, you know, like it wasn't until you know,
it
wasn't
all just rinsed
it wasn't until
ourselves.
no, a public bath, like where everyone would like take dumps and chat. And then it wasn't until like, you know, like sometime I'm gonna guess the 1600s, or I don't know, it was some like pre-America, you know, whatever, like let's blame the Catholics for it, something having to do with them. They made going to the bathroom a more private experience. And it has to do with the discovery of plumbing, because okay, that's what it is. So plumbing was discovered, and then they were like, okay, well, only certain rich people can even afford plumbing. And then you put plumbing in a specific part of, like, you know, like that's
okay.
Plumbing
So let
is
me
the
just
reason
get this
that
straight.
we don't all shit together outside and like get to know our neighbors that way, is because of plumbing.
No, okay, let me just get this straight. You're blaming the Pope for shitting shame, and then you're saying plumbing was discovered as if it were a natural element like radium.
Like invented. Hold on. Did everyone poop together before plumbing? I guarantee it's gonna go, yes, it did. Okay, now I'm getting all this stuff about like, how do people poop before plumbing? Okay, it's getting weird. It's getting weird. This Google search is getting weird. You called all plumbers ugly.
Okay, put it back on me. Put it back on me. I've seen more plumbing top of the hiney, more butt cleavage on a plumber. Sure. And that is a stereotype, but it's not their fault. It's because their tool belts are so heavy. It weighs down their little pants.
They're carrying the weight of the world. Truly. In those pants.
If plumbing goes, society turns full Mad Max. Mad Max.
It's crazy. So all I want is, you know, if you see a plumber truck, you know, snap a picture of that cartoon, tag Trashy on Instagram, or send it to our Instagram, or send it to me. I don't care. I want to know. I just want to see it. There's no way this is an exclusively LA thing.
No, I remember it growing up in Oklahoma. I've seen it. I definitely think it's at least a United States phenomena. Wow, I feel like we really got to something today.
Yeah. Anyways, stay garbage.
It's been trashy.
Can you imagine if that's how we ended it?
Oh, all right, everybody. Well, this has been trashy. Have a sweet day. Just a 7-minute podcast, a tight 7 on plumbing, and we're out. All right.
I mean, honestly, that wouldn't have been a bad idea. Like, maybe that's what we should have done. And we have a weekly tight 7 on plumbing, and we don't just go over all these stories and stuff. It'd be easier.
All right, girl. Why are you trash?
So I rent clothes from Newly, you know, thanks to you. So I'm like just constantly dripping in Anthropologie now. Like, I look rich, right? Like, just clothes that I'm like, these are cute. I cannot afford them, but you don't know that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So as I continue, you know, like to be trying to drip in wealth and stuff, I brag constantly about all the Goop products that I use now. And
GOOP, Gwyneth Paltrow's
line Goop. They have a lot of good skincare and things like that, hair care, and I use a shit ton of it. And the gag is I get that shit for free because I have a friend who works at Goop, but people don't need to know that. I like to keep it real, you guys, but sometimes I am so fucking fake. And it's my clothes. I do not shop at Anthropologie. I can't afford it. And it's my skincare and my hair care and me going, oh yeah, I have actually been using this great lip balm. It's from Goop. Have you Goop? Yeah. Yeah. It's like a $60 lip balm. Well, I don't know. It's worth it when you take into consideration like that I have these lips and the skin for the rest of my life. But yeah, I mean,
It's
you could definitely just go CVS like Burt's Bees if
This is
that
made from
feels right.
Mayan bees. Yeah, no, they're left
Yeah.
over from the Mayan Empire. Yeah, they're kept in
Yeah.
a special hive. Yeah.
I use a hair oil that was juiced straight from Gwyneth Paltrow's pussy. Um it cost me $400,000. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, everybody's got their priorities. It's all fucking free. So
I love
that's
it.
it. Why are you trash?
Yes, I love everything about that. I was gonna come down on you a bit, but the fact that it's free, you're scamming that life. Mwah.
Sure.
Chef's kiss. Chef's
Oh, you were gonna come
kiss.
down if I was actually spending money on Goop products.
I mean I have no business telling anybody what to do with
It would have been
their
fair.
their
You would
cash flow, but
you would have had a leg to stand on. Uh I would have fought you, but
yep,
you
yep,
know,
yep,
you, you definitely wouldn't have been too off base
yep,
to be like, hey, I think it's funny that you're. Anyways, we don't have to get into it. I
no,
love this stuff.
yeah.
These are good products for what it's worth. Keep your your opinions on Goop and Gwyneth Paltrow aside. Like she sells some good stuff. I wouldn't know. I don't buy it, but she it's good stuff. I
So
recommend. You spend your fucking money on it.
yeah, yeah. With our promo code.
I know. God, I wish. I'll try.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if
And
our
then
brands merge.
I don't think so. that's fair. She's like, "Oh, we do wellness retreats. And I'm like, someone got a DUI on a horse. Oops. Spoiler alert.
So I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Why are you trash?
So I got my sister a gift and I
Uh-huh.
just popped that little gift in the mail. Didn't send a card, just sent her a text. Hey, dropping you a little something. Just thought of you. Thought that'd be, a quick thank you when she got it. Thought that'd be the end of it. Right. Well, the gift I got her was a sweatshirt that says aunt because
Oh.
she is an aunt through her husband, her sister-in-law, her brother-in-law, have a beautiful child. I just thought, she really loves being an aunt. I'm just gonna give her this little sweatshirt. What a nice little thinking of you present. Well, she opens it in front of her husband's family, and everyone goes, "Oh my God, that's an announcement."
Oh.
Thinking I am sending her a message that I am making her an aunt myself.
Wow. What a weird. I mean, honestly, carry on with the story, but so far you're in the wrong for sure.
No, it never crossed my mind that she would
Yeah.
think this was coming from me or for me in any way. That's how anti in a childbearing place I am. I was like, oh, just thinking of her. She'll love this cute little sweatshirt. It's fun. And so they no, and she's like, my sister was like, no, y'all don't know Erica very well, and they were like, you need to call her right now. So she called. So she's like, I got your sweatshirt. Do you have something you need to tell me? And then I
What
was
a
like,
weird way to announce that too, like as if
yeah,
we don't have phones.
yeah, no card, no, not as if for some reason, if I ever have child, we're gonna have my birthing announcement. I will literally buy a volcano, like that. Like there won't be a gender reveal. There will be a birthing, and I will be like, I've made a volcano go off to let you all know. This will soon be happening out of my body. Yes, it's disrupted the atmosphere and the land that it's held on, but it's
How do you
important to
think
me.
I feel?
How do you think I will soon feel?
I didn't want this.
So yeah, so then I had to clarify and then laugh, but I'll just be like, no. This is absolutely not. And she just laughed and But yeah,
it is a weird move though for like someone who is not involved in why someone is an ant to buy them an ant sweater. But also
that's okay. I was doing a nice little gift.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, hey, sometimes we think we're doing something and then it ends up being weird or, ineffective.
Absolutely. It's similar to our first story. You had good intentions, but it was actually ineffective.
Coming to us from CBSnews.com, a marijuana company is sued for not making customers high enough. Which, how do you prove such a thing?
Great question. Well, a California cannabis company is being sued by 2 local consumers for lying about the potency of its products. If marijuana doesn't have integrity, what does? Our elections, no marijuana. I mean, what has integrity in this company?
So we've been trying to less and less like name people on this podcast, but I do think that these 2 guys definitely, like, if you hear these 2 names, you're like, oh yeah, those guys are suing a marijuana company for not getting high enough. Their names are Jasper Sentinel and Blake Wilson. One of them, Jasper in Long Beach, Blake Wilson of Fresno. Like, this is the lawsuit that Jasper and Blake have been waiting for.
Absolutely. They've just been sitting. They have a lawyer that owes them a favor from something a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they're like, and he's like, listen, guys, you get one. And they've been like, okay. Like one time their burger was undercooked at Wendy's and they're like, is this the call? And he's like, no, man, it's got to be bigger. Wait for it. So, the issue was a case of how much THC is contained in the company's pre-roll products. So they market is it having a higher than average levels of THC. However, an independent laboratory test found that the pre-rolls do not have a higher concentration of the chemical. In one instance, the product was labeled as having a content of 46% was found to contain between 23 and 27%. Now, do we know, question mark, did Sentinel and Wilson smoke a little bit of the product and there wasn't enough in it to get the results needed? Question. I'm just asking questions. These aren't allegations. I'm just asking questions that a good lawyer or journalist should ask.
Well, there's no way that they like both stopped mid joint and was like, this isn't working, like they must have bought, because like pre-rolls, like, can't you buy like a pack of those, like cigarettes or something?
Essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. So like maybe they like smoked like a couple of them and they're going, man, something's wrong with these joints. They're just not working for me. But it says here 46%. So am I like a crazy pothead or is there a problem here? And then they'll smoke something else and they'll be like, no, in comparison, like I can see how they got to this,
Yeah. If I know one thing about Cincinnati and Wilson, it's that they do their own independent testing outside of the lab.
Yeah, sure. You have to have like the control, which is, themselves as potheads. And then you have to test your hypothesis a few times, but you don't go straight to a lawyer. But, it costs more when things allegedly have more THC in them.
Yeah, they paid a premium price.
Yeah, overcharged. It doesn't list how much that they paid for it, or how much they're suing for. But, I think these weed companies can, they can take the heat. They can handle the financial blowback. And you tried to mess with potheads. It didn't work.
No. California topped the nation in marijuana sales last year at $5.7 billion, according to the annual marijuana business fact book, which can be found on the inside of a pre-roll. So,
oh, really?
No.
Oh, sorry. You duped my ass. I was like, oh, okay.
If you say anything with a journalistic inflection, it does sound correct, though.
Absolutely.
I convinced Winston today. So on the Great British Baking Show, when they cook or they bake, and then they're their final challenge and their signature. And
Mhm.
then, their stations are all messy. And then we cut to the judging and their stations are clean. And then, they bring their presentation up to the judges table. I said to Winston, they have a identical tent decorated just like this that they just move over to and bring their signatures over so they don't have to do the cleaning in between takes. And Winston goes,
Is that true?
Oh. I told you and Winston.
You duped me twice.
I'm a duper. I'm sorry, I'm a duper. I can't help it.
Duper.
Erica Duper Curry. You know who else was doing a dupe?
Well, I just wanted to check on something. Speaking of pot, it looks like, wasn't there a proposition about making more pot taxes?
California.
More
pot taxes in California. Yes, there was something on the ballot this last week. I don't remember.
It was LA County only. Just forget it.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever. Just specific news.
Get it.
Local jokes get local work, or local work gets local. I don't know. Anyway.
All right.
Back to my amazing segue about being duped.
From KTLA.com. Speaking of local.
Yeah. A horseback rider arrested for a DUI following a brief pursuit in Whittier.
Man, I love a car chase. And fuck, would I watch the shit out of a horse chase with the car chase energy? That would be fucking crazy.
Yeah. So a person riding on a horse through traffic, refusing to pull over for police, was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence following the pursuit. Of course, this incident was described on the Whittier Police Department social media.
Oh, God.
Damn it.
Whoa, hold your horse. I don't know. They didn't write jokes.
Police say the horseback rider was galloping through traffic and refusing to pull the horse over. What if the horse had a mind of its own and the rider had no control? Maybe he was holding on for dear life. I'm just saying, again, asking questions that a journalist and possibly a lawyer should ask.
You know what the fuck I'm going to say. Why would there be a person riding a horse through traffic if this was not someone who maybe came from a time when horses were the only way to get around? You guessed it. I think this is a time traveler.
Yep, 100%. 100%.
Are you kidding me? Like, that's textbook time traveler. To be horseback riding in the age of cars?
The CVC, or the California Vehicle Code, states that people riding an animal on state highways or roadways are subject to all the duties applicable to the driver of a vehicle. That means the legal blood alcohol limit on horseback or behind the wheel would be the same of 0.08. The horse was taken to the Whittier police station where it received lots of love from the station employees. And then it was taken out back, shot, and then turned into glue. Oh, I think that might have been a typo. Anyway, yeah. Terrible.
Oopsies.
Oops. Well, anyway.
What a disaster.
Yeah. Well, if the horse gave the side eye to the police and they didn't know. So
speaking of disaster, from rawstory.com, a right-wing superhero movie ends in disaster after $1 million in funders' cash goes missing.
Oh.
A right-wing superhero movie. Is Chris Pratt in that one?
Actually, it stars Rick Caruso. Yeah. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
An attempt to make a Confederacy promoting right-wing superhero movie. Jesus. Did you guys have that on your bingo? It ended in disaster after $1 million of the funders' money has gone completely missing. The movie was supposed to be called Rebels Run.
Based on a far-right blogger called Vox Day, a comic book character he created that features a hero named Rebel, who is sometimes depicted in a Confederate flag bustier and fights against a global police force hunting down free-thinking conservatives.
Man, these people.
Oh boy. You know that the American government. The Confederacy was a 4-year government that was in complete opposite. It was a rebellion against the American government.
Whatever.
Anyway, history doesn't matter.
This is not a political podcast, but that's
just history. That's just history. The film's trouble started when Day, whose given name is Theodore Beale, decided to use the Utah-based firm called Ohana Capital Financial to hold the $1 million he'd raised in donation for the movie in escrow.
Do you know Ohana means family?
I did not.
Yeah. Well, now you do.
So he went with this rare financial institution who would do business with him, given his long history of unabashed racism and sexism.
It turns out, though, that Ohana was a sham institution set up by a con artist.
It was the creation of James Wolfgram, a self-described cryptocurrency billionaire who posted pictures of sports cars that supposedly belonged to him on social media.
So this is interesting. So he needed to find a financial institution to like put $1 million and $1 million and like other financial, because he got of donations, and like he couldn't go to Chase Bank. He was too racist and sexist for like a Chase Bank for $1 million.
I wonder if
did this guy just get fucking played?
I wonder if it was the nature of how the money came in, and there was some like tax shell game, and then maybe there was something also with the way the financing and how payments would go out. If there was I just don't know enough about the escrow or the nuts and bolts of this side of it.
Yeah, so I don't know what it's like to walk into a bank and go, I have $1 million that I need to hang on to because I'm making a movie. They're going to be like, we have some questions. Yeah. So this guy, Wolfgram, his wealth is fake. Obviously, if you're a self-described cryptocurrency billionaire, that doesn't sound real. So everything was fake. And he just played the shit out of this guy. Yeah. And, like, if you're a troll making a movie for trolls, like funded by trolls, and you take it to the troll bank, like,
expect troll consequences.
Yeah, expect continued troll activity. Oh my God. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so much of that, the cryptocurrency and all those things aren't regulated, which makes me so, leery of them. I lost my fortune in Dogecoin, but I am glad like so many things are regulated, like especially the medical industry in America.
That's not true. That's a great segue, but the medical industry is not regulated at all, babes. That's a fucking sham. Welcome to Cassandra's Corner, where I talk about how I don't trust the fucking government.
Well, they did one thing right. They did one thing right, maybe. So from abcnews.go.com, a Seattle doctor accused of sexting during surgery.
Look, you can't control when the titty pics show up on your phone.
And if you aren't texting back immediately, they're going to somebody else.
She's going to think you're mad.
Yeah.
Seattle doctor's been suspended amid accusations that he sexted during surgery, one time sending 45 dirty messages during a single operation. I thought he's not the only person in the fucking room. Nobody else is like, hey, like Dr. Z seems really like checked out right now. He's like really on his phone.
Can he do surgery one-handed and text with the other? Like what's happening? Is that hygienic? Like that, you have to.
I know phones are
scrub in. They have to hold their hands in front of them. At least in movies. I don't know. I don't watch real doctors scrub in, but in the shows, hold their hands in front of them and then wash and then Don't
And you put
someone
your
else put the
filthy
gloves on
fucking
for them?
phone in? Yeah.
Phones are disease vessels. They're the new rats. They're the plague spreaders. God. So
he lost his license
for lack of focus. There's got to be a better term for that. Lack of focus. I think he was focusing pretty hard if he was sending out 45 messages.
She's like, "Are you finished?" No, baby.
This cesarean's taking a minute. She's like, "What?" And he's like, "No, I want this to last forever."
So he was an anesthesiologist. So like he's got to make sure that the person doesn't fucking die. But yeah, he doesn't have his hands inside.
He doesn't have a scalpel. He doesn't have a scalpel.
But he is definitely the person who needs to make sure that they don't accidentally euthanize the person on the table / make sure the person on the table doesn't wake up in the middle of the surgery and have a heart attack. So he was texting during surgeries, C-sections, labor epidurals, appendectomies. One of the text messages he sent was, "I'm hella busy with C-sections." So like, who's this person on the other end? Who's the other person on the other end?
Yeah, that would take me out of a mood. I'd be like,
baby, you work too many hours. Like, oh, you make fucking $500,000 a year. Oh. Look at my chonies.
He was accused of sending X-rated selfies as well, wearing his hospital scrubs and a badge with his genitals exposed.
Just like folded over the top.
Look at this authority badge. The badge for scale, like a banana or a quarter, but
he said, my partner walked in as I was pulling up my scrubs. I'm pretty sure he caught me in one of the text messages. This guy, how old is this man? Like, this feels like some boomer activity, to be honest.
Very much.
I don't think anyone, no millennial or anyone with any sort of technical know-how would make this kind of mistake.
No. He sent multiple sex-related messages. I like that they went from sexting to sex-related messages.
Sure.
To the same woman, a patient, and invited her to visit the hospital for sex, telling her she could park in the doctor's lot to avoid paying for parking.
Oh, I mean, that's a good perk.
Honestly, I might even just come over and park and then just go to whatever's next door. I mean, that's a good deal. Yeah.
The Starbucks.
Yeah, I don't want to get validation. That's a whole mess.
So he obtained an unnamed woman's medical records, not for medical purposes, but in order to view images of the patients for his own sexual gratification. Oh, cool beans. So not only is this guy is a fucking maniac. He's like, yeah. I mean, hey, no kink shaming, but also, let's go ahead and shame this. If you're a medical professional and getting all yucky about patient photos,
and X-rays are the least sexy thing. There's no in medical photos. There's no lighting. There's no story. There's no concept. There's no.
You have to be a very special type of person to be able to read that. This is a very, very special pervert that we have with us today.
Let's talk about something nice, something love.
Okay, fine.
All right. Well, this is from pinknews.co.uk. Gay penguins couples will they won't they relationship takes dramatic new twist.
Wow.
I don't, there's been so much drama and so much stress in the world that I need them to get together.
So in Melbourne, Klaus and Jones got back together and started building a nest.
Thank God. So the Gentoo penguin couple started cozying up to one another once again at the Sea Life Melbourne Aquarium as the species' annual mating season began. The bird manager says that nesting season is always exciting, and that's when they see interesting behavior from the penguins because they work hard to build a nest. And yes, 3 or 4 years, Klaus and Jones have been on and off, which it's my advice to Klaus is
it should be easy, babe. You know, a good
Yeah.
relationship should be easy.
Yeah. If Jones isn't willing to commit, cut it. Know your worth,
Yes.
class. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, don't put all this effort into being in a relationship with someone, you know, if you don't know who they want to be with you. Like, you should know.
Yeah. Well, so they built a nest last year, but it wasn't quite fit for the purpose. It just wasn't right. So
Uh-huh.
they didn't really get together last year. So the two took a real shine to one another in the process, though.
So
So,
they built their nest in the wrong area, but they're getting better. Not only are they like, will they, won't they, but they also like suck at picking a place to build a nest.
maybe they're just dumb and they are meant for each other.
So they're getting to make their nest better. They're giving Klaus and Jones a dummy egg, you know, to serve as a practice run for their future as parents, which that's sweet, you know, because they really want Klaus and Jones to maybe be foster parents. And there's a lot of gay penguins out there.
Yes, penguins I think are heavily documented with same-sex pairings, and there's 10% of penguins pairings in zoos and aquariums are typically same-sex males, and while same-sex female pairings have also been observed in aquariums. Love it.
That's cute.
I love this. Yeah. I wonder if there's more in the wild, but we're just not, observing them as closely.
Sure.
But oh, I love it. Did you ever have to have an egg in high school that you had to like keep alive, like as a baby?
No, but there was like an elective of like a parenting class, health class or something, where you did have to keep a flower baby.
Oh, like a sack of flour.
Yeah, but like it looked like a baby. What's weird is that, you know, like how like they say like memories like are not necessarily like a good, like accurate. The flower babies was such a big deal. Like everyone knew when it was flower baby time because like, fucking half the school would be with child. And so it was like such a significant part of my life, but I can't for the life of me remember if I ever had one. I don't think I did. I think I had friends who had flower babies.
Yeah.
And it was also like a lot of teachers were like, please don't disrupt class with this fucking thing. Like, put that thing on the floor. Like, no one's watching. But like, the
you don't have to be
thing was like
cradling your flower baby. Yeah.
Well, like the whole like rumor, leading up to like when you're, junior, whenever the fuck flower babies come into the picture is like, oh, like careful, like the health teacher, she creeps around campus to like make sure you're taking care of it. So like if you get caught with your flower baby on the ground, you're gonna get in trouble. Like there's spies.
Where she was in the teacher's lounge eating apples dipped in caramel, or like crying in her car because she wasn't paid enough and she was overworked.
She was
creeping around campus doing extra work.
My little birds tell me that
like Varys from Game of Thrones.
In English class, you set the baby down to take your midterm. Yeah.
Oh, love it. Well, speaking of people that are just, overworked and sometimes just flat out wrong.
Just the way I felt, says woman who called 911 over pink barbecue. This is from WRAL.com.
At a rally, North Carolina.
Whoa.
Again. At a rally, North Carolina, the news spoke to the woman who ripped into a local barbecue restaurant for serving her pink meat. I don't know why we're giving her a voice in this story. She's
sure.
So
like, you're like, man, we don't have the whole story. Let's call this lady.
Yeah, let's call this Karen up. So she said she had barbecue at other restaurants and it was never pink. The issue is when she returned to the restaurant to either have the restaurant cook the barbecue longer or serve her something else from the menu or give her a refund. None of those things happened after she talked to the restaurant owner. So she wrote a negative review. So the review states, it's a 1-star review. Worst customer service I ever had in my life. Barbecue was very pink and had lots of fat in it. Tried to go back and tell them I either won't, WONT, my money back or something else. They refused to do either. After I called the cops up there, they gave me 1 piece of chicken in a bag and said to keep the plate. Cops said I had to file a civil suit with the courts. Worst food, cheese not even melted on mac and cheese. And if you could just see the grammar, it's...
There are periods, but they are not always like they're touching the wrong letters. So this feels like text talk too. Like tried to go back and tell them I either won't my money back or something else, and they refused to do either. After I called the cops up there,
I did.
And then like you like way to like bury the lead too. Like you can't. This is not good writing to say. You have to the rule of threes and build on the last thing. Like number 1, cheese not melted on mac and cheese. Number 2, gave me 1 piece of chicken in a bag and said keep the plate. Number 3, I called the cops. You know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, the escalation, the building.
Yeah. Heightening is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. So she talked to the restaurant owner, was like, it's normal for cooked pork barbecue to be that way. She's like, obviously she just never seen barbecue this way. Barbecue is smoked, it turns pink. But she continued to insist that it wasn't done. So the restaurant offered her to bring another meal, a white meat chicken. She said she didn't make a fuss. She left and then dialed 911. And she told the 911 operator, I had ordered some food from there and the barbecue is pink. I asked for either them to cook it some more or exchange my order. They are saying that the meat is supposed to be pink. I asked for them to change my order and they said they are not giving me my money back and they are not going to trade out the food.
This is like, I think that this woman called this journalist herself. Absolutely. Said, hey, I need to tell my side of the story. It's like, lady, you're just someone who's never had barbecue right before.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely left a review of this restaurant and said on Google reviews and said best pink barbecue I've ever had. 5
Did
stars.
you?
Yeah, I did. Absolutely.
How funny.
I'm an asshole.
Speaking of the best you've ever had, I'm so excited for my marriage, my wedding.
Oh, I'm so excited for it as well.
But gosh, this one might not happen.
It's true.
Not mine. This one in the next story.
Yeah, the next story's wedding. Yeah, from themirror.co.uk.
Groom.
Go ahead. No, you go. You do it. You want it. You do it. Beautiful. You do it.
Groom threatens to cancel wedding after bride suggests that their dogs marry each other. My God, the drama.
Love it. So a man preparing to tie the knot next year says everything was going swimmingly until he learned his bride-to-be and her maid of honor intended to also marry their dogs off to each other.
Who cares that you're going to give up an entire relationship because someone had a stupid idea to make the dogs kiss or something? Jesus.
Well, he doesn't have a dog of his own, and he's not much of a dog person himself. But his bride and his maid, her maid of honor, have been gushing about how cute it would be to have the pets at the wedding. And so he was like,
wait, he doesn't have a dog?
He doesn't have a dog. He's not a dog person himself, but his bride
just has 2 dogs or what?
No.
Like, who are the dogs?
Bride has a dog. Maid of honor has a dog. They're going to marry their dogs at his and the bride's wedding.
Oh, that is weird. That is
I'm
weird.
A little on his side. Yeah.
I think I missed that.
Yeah. So the bride and the maid of honor won a full-blown wedding ceremony for their pooches the day of. Entire parts of the reception dedicated to their pets' friendship.
History will call them roommates.
Ah!
Like, Not to be like rude, but is it possible that the bride wants to marry her best friend, her maid of honor?
So, right? So yeah. So he's like, listen, she wants to have a puppy picture slideshow, a cake for them, dog friendly favor bags because they want their friends and their family to bring their dogs also. So he said, I told them no. I already made one compromise on the issue, and I don't want a bunch of dogs around our entire wedding and the reception. And that if they did that, we'd have to find an all new venue probably.
What the fuck? Like, why does she want to sandbag her own wedding?
Well,
and make it a dog wedding.
So he says, listen, I told her that she was near the limit of what she could contribute financially to the wedding and that I was paying the rest. And I don't want to pay for extra stuff for a bunch of dogs. But they both said this was really important to them. So I told the bride point blank, we can stick to what we originally agreed to, or she and Abby can have their costly party that allowed their dogs by themselves, and we just get married at the courthouse by ourselves.
Is the bride Abby or is the bride Jessica? Maid of honor is Abby. Okay, so maid of honor said, Jessica, he's being manipulative and making ultimatums, and maybe you should stay at my place until your groom pulls his head out of his ass. You guys, Abby and Jessica want to marry each other. There is no justification for this, of people wanting to throw this big of a wedding for dogs, unless something else is going on. I'm not a therapist. Okay.
We're journalists.
Well, I'm a journalist. But like, what the fuck?
And has anyone asked the dogs? Do they even love each other?
Exactly. There's no consent with these dogs. Like, ugh, this is crazy. If the writing's on the wall, you say, hey, babe, me and my best friend, my best friend, just friends, we want our dogs to get married on our wedding day and kind of make it like 50-50 about the dogs. And if you say no, then like my friend thinks that you're manipulative and I'll probably just go stay with her. Is that cool? Like,
I hate it.
It's just a weird vibe.
Yeah, I don't care for it. I don't care for it. That feels, again, like everyone escalated in weird ways. And the guys, obviously you write to make yourself favorable, but a lot of times in these Reddit posts, people reveal themselves, but he doesn't sound like an asshole. He's like, hey, yeah. I'm genuinely baffled here. Like, what can I do? It's
this is the side of the story. I want to hear her side of the story. Like, I hope that this comes up on my TikTok feed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Me mates and I want to get our dogs married. And yeah, I don't know how that would go, but I'm sure I could make a Twitter account, pay for the verification, or pretend to be her for $8 and then tell her side of the story. I'm sure.
Wow.
Anyway, speaking of stories.
Okay. Yeah. So this is from 9news.com. Do you use the library, Erica?
I loved the library when I was a kid. I think I actually still have some library books from a blank library that I need to return from many places I used to live ago. But I would get like 10 or 15 library books at a time and then read them. Our school library, I would read so many books. I would get to check out extra books. Sometimes I would just take them and not even check them out and then bring them back. Well, I was over my limit and the librarian was just kind of like, give me the wink. Like, yeah, just bring it back. I loved the library. I loved to read when I was a child. Yeah.
What about now?
I like to listen.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm a little lazy. I like to listen more than I like to really read, which I need to get better at reading again. Yeah. But you? Yeah. Did you? Were you a library girl?
Yeah, we used the library. I owe a little bit of money to the Burbank Public Library for a book I got in high school that I must have lost. But yeah, I mean, We use the library all the time here. I listen from the library. We check out books from the library. Big library stands in this house.
Love a Libby account. Love it all.
Oh
love
yeah.
a library.
Oh yeah. So this is a story about a man who returned his library book, but it was 84 years late.
Yeah. So a man discovered Richard Jeffries' red deer while cleaning out his mother's home last year. He knew it was too good for a skip bin, but he had no idea the fuss of his decision to return it, a mere 30,695 days late, what it would all cost.
A skip bin, that must be like a
trash bin,
like a trash bin or like a recycling.
So on a trip back to Coventry, the father of two popped back into the Earlston Carnegie Community Library with the overdue book. But he was a man of numbers. He's retired from Lloyd's of London, and so he didn't just return with the book. He also whipped up an Excel spreadsheet to work out how much he owed for the overdue fee. So the tardiness penalty was set at 1 penny per day, a weightier sum at the time, which when converted into decimal currency came to the grand total of just £18.27. How $32.68 American.
Yeah, that's
which he happily donated to the library. So I've seen one or two people who've worked out that the current rate of fines I'd be paying would be something over £7,000. And that, so he's like, I better not visit Coventry for a number of years in that case. So,
it's not like they had the computers and shit back 84 years ago. So it's crazy that they could even figure. I mean, I guess back then, like they would just kind of stamp the date on the inside.
Yes. But it was a stamp that you could rotate even, because I know people used to game it.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. You get a sneaky librarian. She'd even roll it back for you if she liked you and you returned it late,
So crazy that this book, it kind of went through a lot in this 84 years. He thinks that his mom, who was just 6 at the time when it was checked out, probably checked it out, but he doesn't know why his grandfather didn't return it.
Yeah. So he says, I'm not sure why he didn't, but it was in 1940. During one night of the Blitz, our family lost the house, he told them.
The Blitz being World War II?
World War II, the Germany attack over London, the Blitz bombing at night. Yeah.
Wow.
But somewhere in the rubble, they clearly found the book, which has remained sort of a family possession ever since. So
that's it's crazy. Like he's returning he gives the library's like, yeah, 18 pounds, please. And he's like, this book survived the Holocaust.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you want 18 pounds from me? Oh, well.
Yeah. He even jokes that it was, it was, he gave the organization money under false pretenses, as it's now a community organization rather than run by the local government council. So he's like, I've been swindled.
Wow, duped.
He's been duped. Yeah. But he's like, yeah, it's survived so many things, and it sat on a shelf for 84 years, and it's been through the hands of hundreds of people. It's in remarkably good condition for what it is, but he paid his fine. He engaged civically. He's a good man.
A good man. That feels like a good segue into our dumpster fire.
Absolutely.
Would you happen to be ready for that?
I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Absolutely, I'm ready.
So ready.
Oh my God. All right, Cass. Today we're talking. It's not really an article. It's kind of an oral history that we've kind of collected through a series of things, but we're going to be talking about the No Cussing Club.
Yeah. So 20,000 members worldwide, founded in 2007. That was my junior, when I was maybe or maybe not walking around with a flower baby. McKay Hatch, a 14-year-old boy, founded the No Cussing Clubs, which aimed at discouraging swearing in public places such as schools. Man, did I cuss a lot in high school. I cuss a lot now.
I know. I'm working on my mouth, but I
trying
to cuss in high school. I love to cuss.
Oh my God. You couldn't stop me.
Yes. So he's founded it in Southern Pasadena. I can't believe, you didn't join
so
up.
So close to me. Yeah. Wow.
It got him to appear on talk shows like the Dr. Phil show and other, other big national syndications. However, according to emails leaked into Wiki News, allegedly written by the boy's father, Brent, the motivational speaker, who also owns Dawson Publishing, the parents are allegedly using the site of nocussing.com and the son's materials for their own the parents were using the site and the son's materials for their own personal financial gain. Anonymous hacked this, y'all, not just
oh my God,
like Anonymous who takes out
Scientology
and pedophiles. They're like, we got to get to the bottom of no cussing.
So this is here's the thing, like, because I mean he's doing public appearances and stuff, but he's not technically an actor. If you're a child actor, there are things that the Screen Actors Guild does to protect children from their parents
accounts.
taking all their money. But this guy was just a public figure. So nocussing.com was trying to set up assemblies in the No Cussing Club's name at schools across the United States for $1,500 per show. Then they would pocket the money, and they did the same for like the churches and schools. So this kid like spoke to like 40 people.
So he, after one speaking engagement, he said by the end of his presentation in this email, it was revealed that there wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. The father's email says, I know this is going to work because the message is so important. Thank you for all you do. And I hope we can work together for a long time. And of course, make money in the process. So the father's in an email said he was hoping to make a goal of making $2.5 million by selling thousands of postcards to schools and churches.
What is the no dry eye in the crowd? Like, what's the message?
So this kid, there's like a rap video. We can post a link to it of don't cuss. It's just, this kid was like, hey, I really don't like cussing. And it's just,
and it makes people emotional.
I guess he had like a whole, he even got legislation passed in South Pasadena to actually ban swearing in 2008. Like,
what a narc.
What a little narc. Yeah. So he was once called the most cyber bullied kid in the world, but he's now 27. He posts occasional Facebook videos and does speaking engagements. And he wrote a book and created the hug card, which is a heat sensitive liquid crystal. Tells you how many hugs you need each day.
What a bitch. That's weird.
Yeah.
So here's the funny like ending to all this is that he got caught on like Xbox Live at one point saying the N-word.
Yep.
So he'll preach how you shouldn't say fuck or shit or damn it or whatever his platform was, but then he'll say the N-word on Xbox Live. So all of this is to say, like, don't trust your government.
Yeah. This kid even came after, remember when the Affordable Care Act was passed and Joe Biden, Vice President Joe Biden at the time said, this is a big fucking deal. He came after Joe Biden hard.
Yeah, he was mad at Modern Family when they had an episode where they said the F word. I mean, this kid sucks.
Nerd. Yeah.
And his parents suck. Like,
his parents suck trying to exploit it. I think he was somewhat sincere and then he just Yeah, his parents were
Is
just
he
shitheads.
sincere though? Like,
oh no, like you should see the videos. Like I think I mean, obviously he's said some racist shit and that sucks, but I think he meant it. This little nerd, bless
face
his
your
heart.
fears, you dork. All right, babes, what are you hoarding?
All right, great question. I have a list. I'm just a huge list because I'm just like I'm hoarding things. I'm hoarding, which is a terrible tendency of mine. But I went to a concert on Monday.
And
it was
on Monday. Jesus, we live different lives.
I live a rock and roll lifestyle. I am out there in the streets. I'm just out there in the streets, man. I saw Gorgo Badello. Fuck, I said that wrong. I saw Gorgo Badello. It was the best show I've seen inside at an inside venue.
Where at?
I saw it at the Belasco downtown.
Huh.
I mean, the energy, I just had like so much going on in my head and just like family, personal, all this stuff. But I was like, I have melted into this show. I am having the most fun I've ever had. It was insane. I the electricity. There are electric fiddle players. There's just drummers. There's accordions. It's all sorts of. It's punk rock, but there's also just all this like violin and like,
it's like kind of folksy punk,
but like hard. I mean, it is insane. You might know them from that song Start Wearing Purple.
Yeah.
That's kind of like their thing that a lot of people may know them from. It was truly I was like vibrating. I was like, it was just a different vibration of energy. If you could see them live, go see them live. I mean, there was a fiddle, like the electric fiddle player who was 70 if he's a day, and he had more energy than all of them.
I saw them live in high school, actually. Like I want to say my freshman or sophomore. No, I could drive. Maybe my junior, sophomore year of high school, I saw them live at the House of Blues, which is not there anymore on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
I was seeing a different band and they opened for them, and I'd not heard of them before. And I was in the front row because I wanted, or like the front row, there was no row, it was all the pit, but I was in the front because I wanted to see the other band. And I was going for like an emo band. So they start performing and it's a crazy show. And this guy jumps off stage and like, I don't know what he did. He just I think he got like, maybe I got wet or something. I don't know. Something happened that I hated. And I was like, fuck this band. Fuck Gorbel, Bodello, whatever the fuck it is. And I was such a shithead about it because I was just like pissed off because I probably wanted to fucking see like, Good Charlotte or some shit. I don't know what the fuck I wanted to see. But it was not that band. And so, when you're a teenager and you have like a huge attitude about it. However, I saw your Instagram stories from this and I was brought back to that memory. And I'm like, I bet as an adult, so I remember I talked to my drama teacher about how I saw that band performed. And he was like, oh, that's amazing. And I was like, no, they sucked. But like my drama teacher's probably in his 30s, like when he was like teaching me. So like, I feel like I would probably appreciate it now in a way that, 16-year-old emo Cassandra was unable to.
Oh, it was magical. And
but
sometimes
on a Monday, oof, fuck that shit.
It was a Monday. I mean, I didn't go to bed. Who knows what time I went to bed?
You're wild.
It's just the adrenaline was a pumping.
Wild child, girl.
I was wild. It was downtown. I parked somewhere. I walked the opposite direction, like a full block downtown in the opposite direction of the venue before I realized I was going the wrong. Made a whole big square. It was a mess. But yeah, anyway, what are you hoarding?
Well, speaking of activities that should only happen on the weekend, I'm hoarding this show on Netflix that's fucking crazy. It's called How to Build a Sex Room, which I'd seen it advertised, And I was like, Taylor, do you want to watch this? Like how to build this? Because we watch all the HGTV stuff together. I'm like, you want to watch this sex room show together? And he was like, I would honestly rather you turn Friends back on. And he does, and that's like a dig because he doesn't like Friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you'd rather watch Friends than How to Build a Sex Room, a show you've never heard of. So I started watching it on my own. It's hosted by this delightful British woman who, you know, she's a designer. Like, take HGTV, like home renovation, but the home renovation is all about building sex rooms. And it's crazy. First of all, I learned a lot about like different types of kinks that exist because like this is Netflix. They don't hold back. Like, you know, so she takes the people who that she's getting building the sex rooms for, like, around to different, like, kind of, you know, specialists, kink specialists, to like, you know, to test them to see like what they might be into, you know, to make sure that she's building them the room that will make them happy. It all takes place in Colorado, in Denver and stuff, which was, you know, kind of crazy. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of like underground sex dungeons in Colorado. But, and it's like kind of funny, like not like funny, like haha, sex is funny, but like everyone is like very like light about it. Like it's kind of not how you're used to watching Americans in general react to sex, because everyone gets so weird about sex, you know?
Right.
It's European in that way, I guess, with this British host, where like people are like very open about like, and they said like most of these people are like married couples or couples who have been, I mean, all these, there's one single woman and then there's one polyamorous group who's like, there's like 7 of them, but everyone else is like either same or opposite sex couples, like and married or at least invested enough in their relationship that they own property together, and having like these like rooms built and like, you know, I don't know, it was kind of cool. And it was like cool to see like people who've been in these really long relationships who continue to like work on their sex life together and, you know, explore these kinks together and all this stuff. I don't know. I thought it was a really cute show. And so I did some research about it, because I was like, by the end of it, not that I have room for a sex room in here in my place, but like, I was like, genuinely like, how much does this shit cost? Because like, this is, we watch enough home renovation shows, you might have an idea vaguely of what a new kitchen might cost, you know, like you could maybe put a number on that of like, it'd probably be about like $15,000 to $30,000. Who knows? But like, I couldn't in the slightest tell you how much it would cost to build a sex room. Like, because I mean, you don't just get like a couple vibrators and a swing. No. Like, she's giving you like a spanking bench and a water feature and a fire. Like, it's pretty incredible. It's like she builds like sanctuaries. It's not everything is just like fuck toys and like, but they're all also a lot of toys in there. I'm like, how much do all of these butt plugs cost? So I was doing research. I'm like, what does this woman charge? And I found an article about it in the New York Times. And these rooms are cost $30,000 to $120,000 to make. Oh my God. But the production company is paying for them. So in most home renovation shows, obviously like the homeowner is responsible for it. And they just like, you know, you film it. Yeah. But this is the first one that I've heard of where the production company completely foots the bill for it. Wow. And the article goes on to say that, like, you know, putting a sex room in your house is an example of home renovation that lowers your property value. You add a pool or you redo your kitchen, you are ultimately upping your property value. But to have a room in your house that's like full of like hard points and, you know, like all this fucking like wallpaper with like boobies on it and shit, it like lowers the value of your home. But the argument behind it is like, who gives a shit? Like, everything that you do in your house should be for you, not to make the value it should go be for up. You. Yeah. So anyways, I loved this show. I thought it was so fun. I give it a watch, you know, like explore the things that are out there. I like I said, I learned a lot. I really, really liked it.
I love it. I love that so much. I
Yeah.
love it so much. Yeah.
What are you throwing out?
I'm throwing out. Listen, I never think we should assassinate politicians ever because it makes them it's murder's bad, makes them martyrs, right? But I do think you should throw a beer can at them every once in a while. Keep them rattled, you know? It's like,
oh,
throw a can, you know? But no, but for real, I'm throwing away mosh pits that expand beyond the pit and the middle. Let the old
what the hell did that have to do with politicians? You just gave horrible advice.
That was just a segue. That was just a joke segue.
Oh, okay. A joke segue. Joke.
The
joke.
Joke.
But not giving that advice.
Did you not see Ted Cruz get a beer can thrown at him?
No, I did not.
Oh, he was at the Astros, congratulations World Series parade, and they were all booing him, and then somebody just threw a beer can at him.
Good.
He didn't hit him. It hit his bodyguard's arm, but then they arrested the guy and they're like, it hit him in the chest. And it was like, that's not true. We all saw the video with our own eyes. Like,
Ted Cruz is a fucking loser. Anyways, okay, go ahead. Yes, just saying, mosh pits.
Keep them rattled, Anyway, no, but mosh pits, they're for the middle. They are for the front and the middle. If I am an elder, I am on the back. I am on the sides. The mosh pit should never come near me.
No.
Unless I step into that environment. I should not be in contact with you. Daisy chaining, mosh pitting, youths, and if you're an elder and you're up in it, love the pit, the energy. I love it so much. Go for it. Have so much fun. Damage yourselves. Go nuts with it. I don't understand it at goddamn all. But I position myself away from it. It should never find its way to me in the crowd.
Was it a big pit or were people starting multiple pits?
The pit was expanding. That's how contagious Gogo Bordello is and their energy. And I was at the point where I had to like push people, it was like where they were bouncing out and I had to push them back in.
Wow.
And I was like, I had to back up. I had to keep backing up. But what they did, if you left an inch, they took the mile.
Absolutely.
So then I had to, hold the ground. It was like I was in a war. And I was like, I can't lose this territory because then they're going to come in. So, let them, do not take the pit out of the pit, keep it in the middle, keep it in. It does not need to be there. There was an incredible person that I deemed, he looked like an off-duty cop. He was so tall, had like those official shoes, like 100% had the mustache.
Sure.
100% looked like an off-duty cop. Had a hat on that said fear.
Oh boy.
And I just called him Mosh Cop. And he was somewhat directing the traffic. He was at least a foot taller than everyone somehow. I mean, again, everything about him screamed, I'm an off-duty cop, but he was somehow with his body just directing the flow, as people would be like, oh, I'm here. He'd be like, nope, you're going to go back this way. But like not aggressively. He just was truly correcting the flow.
Mosh cop.
It was truly like incredible. Like watching a true master of the craft at play. Just kind of
some people really come into their own at punk shows, and I think that tall, imposing men who have kind hearts, like they are mosh cop, and
he was mosh cop. Everything about the shoes, everything about him looked like he was about to go like break a glass front at a protest, and then blame a bunch of BLM protesters, but at the pit. Sure. He was like the little, punk. The guide, the gentle.
Sure.
But I was like, ooh, mosh cop, man, mosh cop. Anyway, Cass, what are you throwing away?
My stupid ass head cold. I'm sick of it.
Nah, that's terrible. I hate it.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, I hate it.
Okay.
I wasn't.
How dare you? Like you wish I was sick. You like me sick.
Never.
What was that one on Hulu where the lady was like lying to the little girl saying that she was sick? Like,
you're talking about Mommy, Dad, and Dearest.
something like that. That's what you're doing to me.
No. No.
The people can find me at Cass Cardenas on Instagram. Don't look for me at Twitter right now. I don't know how. I haven't figured out if I'm going to stay on Twitter anymore. So just don't go looking for me there. Okay.
Yeah.
Where can the people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Iconic Erica Curry. You can also find me on TikTok at Iconic Erica Curry. And that's all I want to be found. That's where I want to be found, you know? Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't mind being found at Trashy Podcast on Instagram or Trashy Podcast on TikTok, trashypodcast@gmail.com, trashypodcast.com, where people can tell us why they're trash and send in stories because we love that. Please send in pictures of cartoon plumbers.
Yes, please.
To Instagram. I am dying to see your neighborhood plumber or tree trimmer or roto rooter, whatever the fuck that is. You know, any cartoon that involves overall the pool man, you know, love to see that.
Any cartoon of a service, please let us see it. Please. Yeah.
Please.
All right.
Yeah.
And as always, we appreciate you for listening. We see the stars coming in on the reviews. We appreciate that so much. And, you know, it really helps this podcast grow. We've got some big stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. Some big stuff that you're going to see.
Yeah.
And you're going to want to hoard yourself.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So that's a little teaser, as they call it in the biz. So,
yep.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Cass.
What's going on, girl?
Stay garbage.
You stay garbage, girl.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye.